Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. This is Success with Srini.
A few days ago on the podcast, I made a point. I said, living life is hard. Doesn't matter. Life in general is hard. But then I also said, even more harder than living a life is living a low life. So no matter who you are, what you do, you shouldn't be living a low life. In fact, everything I do here, this podcast, my seminars, my radio shows, workshops, is all about how to escape the low life. Guess what? All of us, at some point, we do fall into this pattern of living a low life. It doesn't matter how successful anybody is and how much money they have, how much fame, name, it doesn't matter. We all fall into a certain part, a certain duration of our lifetime. And maybe sometimes, multiple times, we fall into this phase. We can say that we are in the low part of our life. And if you study the human mind, you see that brain by default hits the lows multiple times throughout the day. So the low and the highs are natural. But the pursuit of the mankind is, how can we escape the low life? Every innovation that has happened in the last 125 years, 200 years, whatever, every step of the way was to escape the low life. Big cars, big houses, big roads, big industries, everything is to escape the low life. So the pursuit is to have a big life. The question is, when we hit a phase where we have gone to the bottom, which we all do, by the way, how can we come back up? How can we calibrate back to the higher side of us? And there are many thoughts around this. There is one specific thing I want to talk today on this podcast, which is there are 5 things. All the 5 things, but one of these 5 things can really bring you back and can give you a better life. The underlying formula to escape low life is to have a purpose, something that you wake up every day and look forward to. But then there are 5 other things that help you stay focused on your purpose, stay focused on your goals, and these things give definition to the overall existence. The first and the foremost thing that you need to watch out for is your thought, the way you think. People wake up in the middle of the night and process hundreds of thoughts. Unwanted, unnecessary, have no relevance thoughts being processed. People process hundreds of thoughts. People wake up, open their eyes, and they spend like 2-3 hours on the bed, kind of living some altered life. They're processing all kind of emotions, all kind of thoughts. So thoughts have to be understood, they have to be addressed, and they have to be watched. Anything you do meditation, you go hike, you go run, you do whatever you do, make sure that your thoughts are carefully protected and your thoughts are aligned. So a thought is a basic necessity to escape a low life. So once the thought enters the human mind, then the next thing we have to do is we need to protect it. Some good message, some good quote, some good sermon from anywhere. Once it enters my mind, I want to hold on to it. That's the start. Now, once the thought is in place, we need one more thing next to it, which is little bit of willpower. If the thought has a goal associated with it or an outcome that need to be worked on, we need a little bit of willpower. Just a little bit of willpower. We shouldn't be pushing ourselves to do things. We need to use that will within us to engage so that the thought now starts materializing, manifesting itself. Now, once the will is there, I need a little bit of imagination. I need to imagine the outcome. I'm low. At the bottom, I'm holding on to a thought and then a little bit of willpower to get up. And then I'm imagining that I'm out of this problem. I'm out of this situation. And once that imagination is in place, now we need an attitude, a positive attitude. With a good thought, some amount of willpower and some imagination in place, it's very natural to have a right attitude. And then, once the attitude is in place, we need a little bit of concentration. Guess what? All these things are hard, they're difficult. It's very hard to get a good thought into the mind. It's very difficult to activate the willpower in the mind. It's hard to imagine when somebody's beaten, they're down. It's very hard for them to imagine a good life. It's hard. But then what? If you don't bring the thought in, if you don't activate the willpower, you cannot imagine, then you cannot escape. There is no way out in anything that you are doing right now. There's no way out. You are unhappy. You are in a bad spot. Wherever you are in your life, the only way for you to escape is to start thinking big, thinking positive, and thinking the possible. Yeah, it can be done. Yes, I can do it. And you start aligning yourself that the only outcome from wherever you are right now is a positive outcome. I have those days in my life where I wake up, I only talk positive, no negative, nothing, not a single word. And at that point in time, if somebody attacks me or says something to me, I say, thank you, wonderful, I'll look into it, I'll take care of it, don't worry, it can be done, I have done it. Use these words. These are positive words. Imagine what happens. You do that for 10, 20, 15 days. The last time I did this for 3 months consecutively, that's the highest I've gone, continuously talking positive. So if something is coming at you, you are the stopping point. It stops with you. It doesn't go beyond you. If your boss is getting angry, don't come back and show it on your spouse at home. It has to stop with you. Your spouse is getting angry at you, don't go to work and show it on your subordinates. It doesn't work that way. So effective use of thought, will, imagination, little bit of attitude, and concentration. These 5 things will help you escape from any situation that you are in right now. And these are the ingredients for escaping specifically from a low life. And low life means, again, I qualified this, where within which you are unhappy, you are sad, you have things going for you, but then you don't recognize them. You have good things happening for you, but then you disqualify the good and you sign up or you side with the negatives or the bad stuff. That's a low life. And by the way, the definition of low life is all over the place. And we talk about the wheel of life and all the aspects of life. A low life can hit any individual at any point in time in any area of the life. For example, career might be going incredibly well, but then you have a very unhappy situation at home. You have an incredibly amazing situation at home, but the career front, a job front, there is something going on incorrectly. And just because this thing is wrong, it's enough to drag you down emotionally, and suddenly, if that happens for a long amount of time, you start to feel as if you're living a low life. I hope you got the point, but for now, this is it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Stay tuned.